victory very soon here as well. For now, though, let's kick this off on Crystal Cavern, the map by Mavis. This is the one we literally just saw a very quick 12 pool on, so... I mean, as we start to repeat a couple of maps here, I will just reiterate, we're probably not going to see all of the maps for the first time today. Some maps will be repeated. It's simply part of the way it works with players being allowed some sort of freedom in the veto process. We will continue to push some of those other maps as well. Bottom left-hand side, our blue Protoss player as we kick this off, guys. This is Harstem. And to the top right, it is our red Zerg from Sightstorm Gaming Tree. Twitch Prime does remove ads, just to quickly comment on what's going on in chat. Twitch Prime does remove ads, guys, but it still gives the streamer revenue as though you watched the ad. That's what makes Prime really amazing. So if you're a Prime user, you're actually continuously helping the stream out. It's pretty sick. You have Amazon Prime, but you got ads? Dude, get Twitch Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. Link your Twitch and Amazon accounts together. Connect your accounts. Boom. You get a free subscription to a channel as well. You use it here. You get access to our replays and more, which is obviously pretty awesome. And you get to use our emotes and stuff. You get to support the stream even further. So give that a check. If you've got an Amazon Prime account, get your Twitch Prime. You've missed out on free stuff. Probes are going to come in, and they are going to work their way through this hatchery to get things started. True, been a bit of a nuisance, but as you can see, his pool's just coming down, no gas. He doesn't look to be actually overly threatening with this setup. He's just slowing Harstem down from expanding. True is not going to be allowed a hatchery again. With 2 probes chasing, it should never be allowed to happen unless Harstem really slips up with probe positioning. And he will push that drone into the main. His Nexus will come down. Delayed. But True obviously hasn't really set up a proper setup himself. Oh, nice block by Harstem. Stops the drone from becoming an extractor, which means he won't be disabled from having this gas. This drone has been very cheeky, very annoying in these early stages on Crystal Cavern. Again, let's have a look around this map. The last game on here was very quick, so good to see this looking as though it's going to be a little bit of a longer game already, at least. So just to really kind of take you guys through this again. Moving out from the natural, you have this low ground base. For the third, so pretty quick, easy free bases. Again, this map comes under the standard category. Free bases nice and easy, but attackable into natural, somewhat exposed, a drop pathway into the main. So you can take the free bases, but they are, you know, they're not like they're not the super safe free bases. Like you're not going to get them and just kind of sit back and forget that you have an opponent. You got to make sure you're defended and in position and on top of things. You'll probably move out towards this 4th base here, and in general expand towards the upper side of the map. Oh, I kind of like it. If we look at the middle of the map here for a moment or two. Okay, let's watch this at depth quickly as it grabs 1 drone kill, maybe a second. Just going to shade up to threaten the shade into the main while actually escaping. He will cancel that shade. Let's look at the middle of the map quickly. We got these couple of... For some reason, my eyes really say it's high ground, even though it isn't. Like, it's weird because, like... Is it, like... I think it's the way the shadows line as well of the scouting pattern. I really feel like this is low ground to high ground. But it isn't, is it? It's just a flat piece of ground. So, for some, like, it's really actually doing my... it's hurting my head to think about it. I know that sounds really stupid, guys, but I'm not lying. I'm like, oh my god, this looks like a ramp to me. It feels like it should be a ramp, but it is all low ground. But it does choke up the middle of the map a little bit. It gives opportunities to surround, but it doesn't let kind of free... You know, it's not fully open. You can play with choke points if you need to, if that's what your army is reliant on. So, of course, check that out. What's up, El Hugo Hefner with the 100 bits in the chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, dude. A couple of adepts will just shade their way up in towards the main base. And it looks like they'll commit. Not convinced there's enough defense here to really shut them down. Drones will pull in to minimize the damage dealt, but it's 3 workers killed. I mean, that's still nice. Damage done. The thing is, it's also great scouting for Harstem. He sees a lair. He sees a Rotron. He's in the natural of the Oracle, which has picked up more workers as well. And I mean, as this begins to look like a Nidus attack from True, he is dropping so much economy right now. This is painful. True currently 5-1 out of the 6 maps he's played today. If he was to lose to Harstem, 5-3 ain't bad. That's 2 wins, a draw, and a loss. But it's not immediately going to move him through this group, I would say. Obviously, would depend on some other results. So that's something for us to keep in mind as we do have the Twilight Council and this Forge setting up now on the natural. A Phoenix will come forwards, and we will see this Overlord just going to be chased away a little bit. As 2 Oracles into the main man. True's actually going to throw down an Infestation Pit. I wonder if he's just like, man, I'm behind. This hasn't worked for me. Let's just go infest it. Not even infest it, Swarm Host probably. I can't imagine what else his plan would be at the moment. But the thing is, Harstem, not only is he dealing damage, he consistently looks to see what exactly True is doing. He sees the Infestation Pit, so he already knows about that. And, well, now we see beyond the charge and the +1 attack upgrade, a Robo Facility added on. The third Nexus is already coming down. He sets up with a Shield Battery too, and he still has these 2 Oracles to come on in. As you see now, 2 Adept shading through as well. I mean, just no Ling speed. He actually starts Roach speed here, True, so I'm not even sure if he knows what he wants to really commit to right now. This Infestation Pit's not going to bring much use for anything, as even more drones going down. True is falling apart at the moment as the 2 Oracles fly over the third base. They're going to head their way in towards the natural, going to go for a couple of drones here. So they're going to start picking off a drone or 2 once again. And Harstem is just non-stop with this pressure at the moment, continuing to just be so aggressive. Man, True is really not having a second to breathe. And right now you might look at something like, well, you know, he's only 8 workers behind. He's, you know, only, what, half army supply? You know, that's not terrible. That's playable. Yeah, you know, I would say I would agree. But usually that would be the case without Harstem having his production set up. Now Harstem has a ton of gateways to use. This is going to be absolutely crazy. As you get this ready to go. Man, I really... I really get confused. I'm still looking at this, I'm like, that's a ramp, and it isn't. I know I've said this so many times, you guys are probably sick of me, but I really keep looking at it. Crazy. Anyways, we do see the Ling just to the side. Meanwhile, Swarm Hosts are on the way up. You know what, I mean, in fairness, if you think about it, in terms of the map, Swarm Hosts are pretty cool, have a pretty cool usage on this map. You can come around here, Swarm Host in towards the main. You can come over here, Swarm Host into the natural. I actually think this is a pretty good map for Swarm Host compared to some of the other contenders. Unfortunately for True, we might not see it come into play. He'll just have to drop the Locust defensively against these units in the middle. And that means now these Locusts are just flying around uselessly. They're on cooldown, and Harstem can just push on forwards, knowing that so much of the supply of True is currently on cooldown from actually being able to join a fight. Another set of Locusts will come up, and they will actually drop down. A few more Zealots warping in. If the Archons here, though, is just going to be the splash that cleans it up so quickly. And well, now they're almost out of sync as well. And this third base of True already in trouble. A couple of Zealots go charging after Swarm Host to keep track of them, keep them running around. Means they actually are going to be pretty far away from the base. But still, they might try and, okay, now they turn around and try and come back. But, well, an Immortal and a couple of Archons against Roaches. I can already tell how this fight is going to probably end up. As these Zealots charge on through as well. And again, Harstem set himself up brilliantly in this game. And since then, has continued to put himself into a great position. And, well, again, this aggressive follow-up, there's just no answer to it. Drones are being massacred. This splash damage of this Archon. 25 workers down here as we're going to be seeing Roaches and Locusts coming on in, getting another couple of kills. And we are going to be seeing that Hydralisk Den going down in the back. And I'm just going to be seeing a few more Zealots jumping up into this Warp Prism. Well, Harstem looks good in this first game against True. Again, a second game of True versus Harstem coming up after this, guys. As we'll see, Harstem's army might get cleaned out. In fact, his army will get cleaned out, but he's on 4 bases of 78 probes against 27 drones. True has an army supply. All Harstem has to do is survive one wave of this army, and he is fine. Although, again, he did lose everything, so maybe there's a way for True to do this. Maybe there's some opportunity for him to really make this work. Oh, 2 Oracles going to find himself 1 Swarm Host already. These Oracles from early in the game are actually amazing because every Swarm Host he gets rid of here is huge value for him. And you know what? There's no anti-air at all, so actually these Swarms are just going to keep taking damage. The Oracles will keep chasing. Yes, okay, these Locusts land on the army, but it doesn't really do much with shield batteries to help out. Those Oracles are still going after Swarm Hosts, more kills being brought into play. And while the Roaches that do move their way forwards, they're not supported by the Locusts now. And so they are just going to have to keep on pulling away in a little bit of a problematic position. Harstem even has 2 Voids on to help him against the Roaches. GG it is, and Harstem is going to take the first game against True. Yeah, I think it's going good so far. Having a good day. And if you're enjoying the stream, do consider hitting that follow button. Following is the main way you can keep track of when we're live. You can see when we're casting more StarCraft 2 in the future. And we are live all week. I've casting every single day. I'm going to be casting both on WardiTV and here on my own channel. So if that sounds fun to you, do consider hitting us up with a follow. It's much appreciated. As to the top left, our blue Protoss from Asterion Esports. It's Harstem going up against the red Zerg top right, True from Storm Gaming. I will just, as we see this 12 pool coming down, getting set up, just want to quickly say, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. If you do want to support the tournament and the stream and the content that we put out here on WardiTV, then do consider hitting us up with a subscription. If you're a Twitch Prime user, you can subscribe to the channel for free. You get regular replay packs. All of the replays of this tournament will be going out to our subscribers on the Discord server. And, yeah, it goes a long way to just allowing us to keep on putting out content. You also get to spam some emotes to get to annoy Rifkin with the Rift Blush emote. So, it's a great deal if you ask me. But 12 pool is on the way. Harstem, yet to scout, actually. So he doesn't actually know what's going on just yet here on Crystalline Addiction. Apparently True really feeling the 12 pools today in the ZVPs. This is True's last game, by the way. After this, he is done for the day. And that's kind of why we want to play a couple of matches not live as well and cast them from replays after. You know, it kind of feels unfair to let some players be done after 2.5 hours and other players slogging out for 5 hours straight, right? So yeah, doing our best to match things up like that, as we do see. And this probe will be found by a bunch of Zerglings, so a couple of things actually going to jump onto that probe there. And well, True going to take a gold base behind this. Remember, these are neutral missile turrets that this Overlord is starting to head towards, but it looks like the Overlord will stop short. Probes will pull down to the low ground. This is the thing, though. Harstem saw this way earlier than Puck did, so a big difference already as these Zerglings arrive. We're going to see the Zealot finishing up in a few moments' time, and another few Lings coming in. Again, more of these Lings of True just coming around the top, and we will have Harstem. He's going to pull his probes forward here. And already going to be nibbling away a few of those Zerglings. A few of those Lings taking or dealing some shots already. One pylon will go down the low ground. The rest of these Lings being annoying, but the second pylon already built here by Harstem keeps him very safe in the long run. 7 probes lost, which is starting to become a problem. Lings into the main base now. It's not too bad yet, but the fact True will have a gold base behind it, well, he hasn't pulled drones to it, so it's not too detrimental so far. Getting rid of these last few Zerglings has really proven to be actually quite the annoyance in the end. 3 remain, and the Adept will jump on top to get the last couple of kills here. Zealot should be able to swipe one of the 2 down, and that should be it. I imagine the map is called Crystalline Addiction, guys, because look at all the crystals in the background. A couple of people talking about what the map looks like on the map and so on. It looks like it looks a little bit like these look like some tusks. And you do have this kind of like these eyes up here as well. So like eyes, mouth, tusks coming off the mouth. You know, I could see some sort of like, you know, a couple of floppy ears. The teddy bear tusk, the teddy bear elephant. Something like that. I'm not sure. Yes, these turrets are killable as well, by the way. These neutral turrets, they attack both players in the game if they have air units flying over. They are killable. The issue is obviously you need high ground vision and something that can then reach over. So we haven't seen many of them killed. We've seen 1 or 2 so far in the matches that we saw earlier today. Obviously excited to see a few more of those as we move on through. Well, just going to be seeing this Adept popping out in a moment or so as well. And Harstem will keep up the pressure, and obviously with the 2 bases from True actually so far apart, there's a real possibility for True as, oh my god, I mean already, yeah. You know, these Adepts are just going to be so powerful when these bases are so far apart. Only Queens here to defend as well, 6 drones down, suddenly the worker count is evened out. And these Adepts just going to escape up through the top side again. They got to do a little bit of ping-ponging. It's like Neon Violet Square, only to a lesser extent with these little blocks in the ground. Stargate on the way up from Harstem. Well, he has to be very careful with how he sends units across the map if he does commit to this Stargate play here, because obviously it's not really going to be very easy to keep them alive against the missile turrets. We saw that earlier in Goblin vs. Harstem, the first time this map was seen today. More Zerglings heading over to the left right now, and we do see a Stargate continue to build in the natural. Lair coming up in the main base too. And a couple of these Adepts will continue up through the top side of the map. This Crypt is coming through the top as well, keeping vision here for True. Again, Harstem as he jumps on over, is going to be able to get himself an attempt at another drone. Still just being so annoying with these Adepts. Seem to be super brilliant with these dealing with these Adepts. We saw that in the last game, obviously, pretty drastically. One drone going down here. He's going to get as far away from the screens as possible. Doesn't want to be surrounded by the drones. Surrounds from drones actually add a lot of damage against these adepts and makes their life a lot more difficult. This is great. He's got so much space to work with in the main, and that means he can actually shade over here while pulling the queens out of position again. More damage to be done now. Lings approach the front, but adepts and a zealot will hold. So that's looking just fine now as we see 7 drones down. And again, more damage dealt as the Oracle will come through the center of the map. And we'll avoid the neutral turrets for the moment. But again, I'm waiting for this Oracle to fly into some of those. It almost seems like an inevitability as we do see 1, 2, 3, 4 more drones killed. And still counting actually, because there's just only one single queen. You know, true, while he's held a worker lead, he just still seems to be behind throughout this game. The gold base obviously helps him out a bit as well. There's the second Oracle coming across the map now too. As we will have the Forge, the Twilight, and the Robo. All 3 of these structures added on here. Groove Spines will start from True. That Link Speed continuing to come up as well at the moment, so Link Speed still coming on into play. A few more Hydras also coming up as we see the Adepts will be able to jump onto this mineral line again. This time the gold base is going to be seeing a lot of hits. 5 drones lost because again the Oracles are back into the natural, and Harstem is just the drone murderer. Do you guys want to make a guess at how many workers have been killed this game? I'm going to say Harstem's killed 37 drones. I think that's a fair number. 29, okay, I'm a little bit overkill. Being 1 or 2 less attacks than I thought, but well, 29 is definitely not bad. He has lost 13, remember. That early 12 pool did find damage in the early stages. The Lings counter-attacking now. Coming in, surrounding a depth, surrounding a probe. Oracles will show up as well, and they will continue to deal a little bit more damage here. So, a few of these Zerglings are going to be pulling back out into the center again. More Lings and Hydras from Drew coming out into the middle, seeing what they can get up to now. Lings to the south, Zealots to the south side actually going to be swiping their way through these Zerglings also. I mean, True had this once again earlier today where his opponent wasn't really able to hold the third, and you know what? For everything Harstem's done, he hasn't got an army, does he? True just marches across with Hydras and Banes, and Harstem just has no units! Huh. Man, despite all that kind of harassment, this gold base really kept True in an income lead, and then suddenly when he was able to make Hydras and Banes, his army supply just explodes, and Harstem was not ready at all. A quick fight through the middle of the map is obviously very powerful, and that's exactly what we saw, just pushing through the center. That creep's very powerful. This map